Tonight in your School Watch, should teachers keep guns on them? Some parents in Pueblo School District 70 say yes. Others say violence on violence is not the answer. News 5's Natalie Chuck joins us now live at the School District 70 building in Pueblo County after a lengthy debate there tonight. Natalie.
Right, Diane. 10 people took the stand during tonight's public commentary portion of the meeting. The board president tells me this is the first time they've publicly had this conversation. She says it was really an idea by the community members to bring this conversation to the table after that tragic shooting in Texas.
We can't depend on the law enforcement response as being timely enough and forceful enough when it needs to happen.
3 minutes.
I'm adamantly against arming teachers.
That's how long each person had to talk about arming teachers in Pueblo School District 70.
That absurd notion, that arming teachers would be an effective response to the wave of gun violence plaguing our schools is alarming.
It is imperative to provide teachers with the training, the ability, and the mindset to be able to protect the students within District 70.
Community members took the floor of a board meeting after a presentation by Pueblo County's undersheriff.
We teach that we're not going to stop, we're going to go to what that threat is.
Featuring a video on active shooters.
The presentation from the Sheriff's Department, one of the things in his presentation was run, hide, and fight. How do you expect the teachers to fight one-sided with a gun?
My reason for speaking tonight is standing right next to me. She just turned 5 in May.
Another parent advocating to bring Faster Colorado to the district, a nonprofit training school employees to use guns.
I'm not saying that every teacher should be armed, but I am saying that if a teacher is inclined to protect their students and they want to go through that training, then those teachers should have that ability and they should be able to protect these kids.
And both sides looking for school safety with common ground.
I'm confident there will be a solution. And I know whatever decision comes, you will have weighed it heavily, and we appreciate that.
I think it is vital that we try to bridge the gap and find out what our similarities are and not just what our differences are. It is driving us all apart.
Now, I asked if the board is considering arming teachers in the district, but have not received a response. Reporting from Pueblo School District 70, Natalie Chuck, News 5.
Natalie, thank you. A great night out tonight. Change, it's in the air. Here's meteorologist Alan Rose. He's in for Mike Daniels tonight.
Yeah, Diane, nice and comfortable tonight, and some would say nice and comfortable today for the first day of summer. One of the first below average days in the entire month of June. 75 today, the high in Pueblo, 71 in the Springs. You can see over the past 5 days, we've been much warmer than that. Highs in the 90s and triple digits dating back to last Friday in Pueblo, with highs in the 80s to even middle 90s for the Springs in that same time period. Now tonight, some would say it's pretty chilly outside. Currently seeing numbers in the upper 40s around Woodland Park, 53 in Monument, 60 for Pueblo La Junta, and 61 the current temperature in Canyon City. Will be nice and pleasant, a little chilly early tomorrow morning for the first full day of summer. Highs tomorrow afternoon up about 5 to 10 degrees, with mountain showers and thunderstorms increasing just to the west of I-25. Now coming up in a few minutes, we'll talk about a bigger change, much more moisture in the forecast as we head towards the weekend. First though, send it back to you.
Alan, thank you. Today, the suspect accused of murdering a girl at a Colorado Springs Walgreens made his first appearance in court. Police say Joshua Johnson, a 28-year-old man, murdered his 17-year-old co-worker, Riley Whitelaw, at the Walgreens off Centennial and Vindicator Drive earlier this month. Court documents show the manager says the girl had filed a report against the man, claiming he made unwanted advances towards her. Johnson is expected back in court in late August. In your Capitol Watch, the fourth public hearing about the January 6th attack at the Capitol got underway today. The committee focused on what it called a pressure campaign to force state officials to overturn election results, including a now infamous call between former President Trump and Georgia's Republican Secretary of State. Earlier today, Mr. Trump posted on social media, again calling that phone call perfect. He also claimed Arizona's Republican House Speaker agreed the election was rigged.
Anywhere, anyone, anytime has said that I said the election was rigged, that would not be true.
A mother and daughter who served as local election workers in Georgia also testified today. Former President Trump and attorney Rudy Giuliani falsely accused Shay Moss and her mother Ruby Freeman of passing each other a USB drive while they were counting ballots. Moss said today it was just a mint. Those accusations led to harassment against the two, including death threats. The next public hearing is scheduled for Thursday. New tonight in your election watch, the Secretary of State is sending an election observer to Pueblo County starting tomorrow. It comes after primary ballots in Pueblo County had 2 printing errors, which led to multiple incorrect ballots being sent to voters there. The errors impacted less than 1% of voters in Pueblo County. The clerk and recorder, Gilbert Ortiz, says he believes that observer will report back on mitigation efforts for current errors and to prevent future ones. He also says today the county election department had an audit from the Secretary of State's office. Today marks 1 week until Election Day for the Colorado primary. So far, about 10% of the 460,000 ballots set out in El Paso County have been returned, the majority of those coming in over the last week. The county clerk and recorder says voters will be making a decision on some key seats.
Your House and Senate seats and some of your commissioner seats. The winner that is chosen next week, Tuesday night, is in those particular parties will probably be that person who will prevail in November.
It is too late now to mail in your ballot. You'll have to use a ballot drop box instead. Also, don't forget to sign the back of your ballot envelope or your vote is not going to be counted. Now to a story that is positively Colorado. Starbucks stores across the Front Range are saying thank you to local firefighters through cups of coffee and also handwritten letters. One store manager started what they call the Passion Project after firefighters saved her home in early May. She called more than 100 Starbucks stores in Colorado, and now each of them have an appreciation station set up. Anyone in the community can write a handwritten note that is going to be sent to local firefighters, along with a 5-pound bag of coffee.
It's about bringing our communities together. So it's been effortless. It's been overwhelming to see the partnership in other areas, other districts, other states.
More than 100 fire departments are getting cups of coffee thanks to the project. The coffee drop-offs happen every other Friday. This Thursday marks 10 years since the Waldo Canyon fire started. That fire devastating our community. It burned more than 18,000 acres. It destroyed 347 homes and it killed 2 people. On Thursday night, join us for KOAA News 5 at 6 as we speak to the brave first responders who fought that fire, the families who lost their homes, and police about where the investigation stands right now. It's an important look back, but also forward about how this fire changed lives and impacted the way our country fights wildfires now. It's Thursday night right here on News 5 at 6. High gas prices, they are not stopping 4th of July travel plans. Millions of Americans are going to be on the roads coming up. Which cities are expected to have the very most traffic? Alan.
And Diane, dropping temperatures today took us from a summer sizzle to a summer simmer. I've got some even bigger changes ahead in that forecast, including some much needed moisture. We'll be back with those details when News 5 at 10 returns.
And now, your First Alert 5 weather.
Welcome back, everyone. After a cool and cloudy first day of summer, check it out. We're seeing some clearing in the atmosphere and some very pleasant temperatures. Right now, it's pretty chilly for June standards, 58 degrees in Colorado Springs, just about 2 degrees warmer than that in Pueblo, 60 degrees. We have some moisture in the atmosphere and light winds out of the east at about 6 miles per hour. We'll continue our camera tour here from the News 5 viewing area. This would be Monument Hill. Traffic looking good in both directions on I-25. Dry at the surface, mostly clear skies aloft. Current temperature outside at 52 degrees. Now, we do have quite a bit of moisture that's beginning to build in from the southwest. This is the first real taste of the monsoon. If you called what we saw last week sort of an appetizer portion, this is going to be the main course as we head towards the weekend, folks, as we're expecting copious amounts of moisture to move in. And we start to see indications of that tomorrow. But you're going to notice here on Futurecast, when I put this into motion, most of it is going to stay along and west of the interstate. By noon, generally dry, but could see some showers into parts of Los Animas, Huerfano counties, getting some scattered showers and thunderstorms in the mountains. But look what happens between noon and about 3:15. Much heavier rain starts to build across the southern I-25 corridor, the Raton Mesa, also getting some pretty good showers into the San Luis Valley. Spots that desperately need the rain, that are still seeing extreme and exceptional drought, should do quite well tomorrow. I think some areas could pick up more than a half an inch of rain. Now, it will be sort of hit or miss in nature who gets the heaviest rain, who gets maybe some lighter amounts versus those downpours. But overall, it's looking like a pretty wet day out west of the interstate during the day on Wednesday. Now, if you want to get outside and golf here in the Pikes Peak region, it should be okay. We're likely dry through the afternoon, but there could be an isolated shower by mid to late afternoon. But generally speaking, looking pretty good out there with temperatures about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than what we saw today. Now, we are overdue for some rain. We have not seen much measurable precip since early in the month, and we are below where we should be in both the Springs and Pueblo, with the biggest soaker in both areas coming way back on June the 1st. Now, some good news as we look ahead. This is the European model. I'm going to run this out through Sunday. I mentioned that we get some mountain showers for the next couple of days and then better chances for more widespread soaking rains, a good drink of water, as Mike Daniels likes to say, as we head towards the upcoming weekend. Now, the numbers could be a little bit off. This is a longer range model, but it all looks good when all these numbers are generally between about 1/2 inch and 1.5 inches. That indicates to us that the models are picking up on this trend, that we do get more widespread, more beneficial chances for rain. I think really the bulk of that rainfall, at least at this point, looks to fall from Saturday night into the day on Sunday. So you might want to be thinking ahead.